Many applicants worry about their stats. It makes sense. Your GPA and GMAT are measurable. But if you don't have the strongest GPA or test scores, don't despair. Hi, I'm Jeremy, founder of mbaMission, and I'm here today to discuss a few steps that you can take to mitigate low scores. Let's define what low actually means. Schools typically publish both an average score and a range of scores, and that range shows the middle 80% of test takers at that school, meaning that 10% of applicants are below and 10% of applicants are above. While ideally you want to be at or above the average, if you're close to the average, then I wouldn't really necessarily consider that a low score. Also, if your scores are low, you might want to consider adjusting schools. For example, if you have a GMAT of 700, that would be a low score at a school where the average is 740. However, at a school where the average is 710, your score is barely below the average, is basically average, and at a school where the average is 680, you've turned your score into a strength because it's actually above the average. So context is important for you. Really keep in mind what low is based on your target programs. I want to speak separately about the GPA and the test. So let's start with the GPA. For US colleges, they're typically on a 4-point scale, but that one number averages 4 years of work. So if your score is significantly below the average on your list, the first step is to explore your transcript for the positive story. Did you have a difficult first semester or first year adjusting to school, but then your GPA improved over the next few years? Did you do better in quant courses? If so, these are stories that you want to make sure you tell the admissions committee. Every application will have an opportunity for you to write an optional essay where they'll ask if there's any information you wish to share. This essay is not a chance for you to share another great work accomplished, but it's a chance for you to look at a problem, a weakness in your application. Then you can control the narrative for how the admissions committee will view that problem. So if your first year grades were low, but they rose steadily after that, then you would point that out in the optional essay. Same would be true of your GMAT as well. If you struggled in the GMAT, but could show alternative evidence of quantitative strength, for example, you might want to share that in the optional essay. Another way to navigate having a lower GPA is take some additional courses. They don't need to be at the MBA level in a business school. You can take them in a local university, you can take them online. It doesn't matter, they just need to be serious quantitative courses. While this course is not going to change your college GPA or minimize the impact that your GPA will have on the school's GPA average, it can show that you're a serious student when you need to be. And again, if it's quantitative, and it should be, it'll show that you have the quantitative abilities and you can manage the MBA curriculum and workload, and that's important. Now let's discuss your GMAT or GRE. Many applicants believe that the business schools take the GMAT more seriously, but I want to assure you that's just not the case. If you're not happy with your GMAT score, try a free practice GRE and see if you can do better. You should submit whichever test you do best on. If you're applying to an executive program or to a small group of select 2-year MBA programs, you could also consider the executive assessment, which for now isn't really about high scores. Finally, some schools are offering test waivers that you could request to circumvent testing altogether. In addition, schools like to see the effort you put in to take the test multiple times, so don't hesitate to take it until you feel like you've fully reached your potential. Let me offer you a word of reassurance. While test scores and GPA are an important component of the application process, and schools want to make sure that you'll be successful, and therefore they do need to validate that you can handle the coursework, your academic profile is only one component of your overall application. Yes, it should be as strong as you can possibly make it, but strong recommendations, excellent essays, and a demonstrated fit with the school are also very important components that will help the school make their decisions. So think about your application holistically. That's very important. And as we think about creating a holistic application, please check out my 4-part series on how to be a competitive MBA applicant. Thank you so much for joining us.